In today's video, we're going to be looking at the AI prompt firm's MT5 EA. This one is by MQL Tools SL, or Marzena Maria Smit, who's probably one of the most famous or infamous developers on the MQL5 marketplace. And the thing about this developer is that they always put out bots and the community is split. Some people are like, these are blatant scams, they don't work, they're manipulated. And some people love their tools and they're very super passionate about the fact that these are some of the best trading robots around. So it's one or the other. You very rarely get people who are indifferent about these tools. So from what I've heard and kind of assembled the data over the years by chatting with different folks, they do manipulate their signals. They don't give real signals. Sometimes backtest results are a little bit fudged. However, they still generally speaking know what they're doing, and they do try and make systems that work. So that's kind of the two sides of the coin that I've heard over the years and just by chatting with people. And that's why I think you get a lot of this kind of polarization of people. Yes, you do some funny business, and that's why some people think they're scams. And also a lot of their backtests look just blatantly fake. However, because they do kind of know what they're doing when it comes to developing systems, sometimes their bots work reasonably well and some people are happy. So this one is kind of the newest addition to their lineup, and it's the AI prop firm's MT5. The main thing is it appears to be a USD CAD based bot, which runs compatibly with prop firm settings. So what do I mean by runs compatibly with prop firm settings? There appears to be things like a daily risk limitation. So for instance, you're able to cap your daily risk. They also seem to have taken into account stuff like entry time offset, so it enables different people to randomize their trades. So they've taken a lot of the core requirements for any sort of prop firm bot and they put them in this one. So they do seem to be taking a pretty tried and tested strategy and applying it to a prop firm setting. One thing is that they heavily lean on the AI. I do think that that's not exactly accurate here. Pardon me. I do think that this is likely a real just basic currency bot, but many developers in MQL5 and on the marketplace will put kind of sprinklings of AI jargon to make something sell better. From what I can see from my initial kind of viewing of their system, I don't see much real AI going on here. However, it does look like there truly is a real kind of more mean aversion style system here. So they're going to also add it for GBP USD. However, currently it's dollar CAD. And there's a lot of different settings here which make it appropriate for prop firms, namely daily risk as well as no hedging. You have to run it on the M1 or the M5 on dollar CAD. You need to have a fairly modest deposit, which is a good sign too, because it shows that it's not going to be a martingale or anything crazy like that. And here they have a nice FAQ. The main thing about this firm is they're actually very professional. They know what they're doing. They're a little bit sketchy, but at least they seem to offer good service and detailed documentation, and people like them for that reason. Their Bitcoin grid was a really terrible bot. That's the one which I absolutely think was a really horrible idea. But most of their currency ones, people are kind of on the fence on. Like usual, there's no signal. They say that, hey, you can go to our website to see a signal, but there's never one there either. I think they're just kind of counting on the fact that they've been in business for so long that people just buy their stuff when it comes out. But I'd also be a bit apprehensive of buying something without any sort of track record. So I actually ran a backtest here on the Vantage MetaTrader, and as we can see, it's a very beautiful straight line up. Likely you would not see performance like this live. There's either a degree of heavy over optimization. Once again, it's also running with incredibly low risk, so that's why we're seeing very minimal drawdowns. If we were to make this more aggressive, probably wouldn't look quite as beautiful, but overall, it's not like a history reader or anything. There are some dips. There is a 76% win rate here with a positive risk reward of 3.55 to 2.2, so manipulated but not blatantly fake. The actual trades, it looks very much like a currency mean aversion style. It actually looks like a stop and reverse to a certain extent. So it buys, and then when one stops out, it can actually enter with a second position. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. That's a real style of system. So it's more like it's probably running with an oscillator, and instead of always kind of stopping out, they're also using a stop and reverse mechanism, which can be quite popular. If we look at inputs too, with the AI features, there's no place to put a web request or to put a API key, which is usually a telltale sign that it's fake AI. Trade parameters, yeah, basic stuff. Trailing stop loss, cool. AI trailing stop loss, I personally doubt it's really AI. There's a plethora of different filters here. There's some logging. So yeah, it looks to be like they put some thought to this. However, the backtests are clearly too good to be true. You don't usually see this level of smoothness in a real trading strategy. I wish you could, but alas, unless you get very fortunate for a few months, it's just not something which you see too often. Let's run ourselves a visual backtest finally to see what's going on. Yeah, we can't really glean anything else from here. Honestly, some of the things I'm seeing here actually would make it quite appropriate for prop firms. The fact that it's more of a swing style system, they're holding for several hours, it isn't like a scalping system, makes sense. The fact that it's not trading too frequently also makes sense. It's trading Forex where you can usually have higher leverage, also could be a good decision for them. So a lot of the ideas here are actually good for a prop firm. So I wouldn't be surprised that some people do pass with this. Frankly, with a prop firm, because the edge is so massive, like even if you have a 50% win rate, you can still make money. So most likely this thing would actually work in many prop firm settings. I would just be a bit apprehensive of using it on live accounts without knowing what the long-term edge would be. So overall, definitely a real system from a developer that kind of has a bit of a mixed reputation depending on who you ask. So it's probably not worth $1,000. There's better products out there for a comparable price. Like this looks like a pretty straightforward system, but hey, some people have been happy with it, and to each their own. I personally would not buy this one, but I don't think it's fake or like heavily manipulated or anything like that. There's a little bit of manipulation, but there's a real strategy behind it as well. So guys, if you buy this one, let me know what you think, and looking forward to seeing the next video.